Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. So today I am doing a what I spend in a week. It's been a few months since I've done one of these videos and you guys have requested it. So that is what we are going to talk about today. Hey guys, thank you for coming back for another day of Vlogust. I thought we would do a what I spend in a week video today. I thought this was fun the last time I did it, and so what I did was I kept track of my spending for a full week starting last week on Thursday, and I've itemized everything out and kind of put it into categories. So basically I'll just be walking you through each day and telling you what I spent. I'm going to include everything that came out of my checking account during this week, so that includes money that I put into savings accounts too, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Just a few clarifications before we start this video. If you're not familiar with my channel, I am a full-time working mom. I have 2 kids. I am married. My husband is an engineer and I am a nurse. I work in healthcare. Both of us have worked in our respective careers for over 15 years now, so it's been quite a while that we've been working after we got out of college. So we do have those 2 incomes, plus I also have income that I receive from YouTube. Now, most of the income stays in my business account. However, I do pay myself out of that account a certain amount each month, and then I also use that money to put away for my kids' college as well, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. Before we get started, we are going to have a quick word from today's video sponsor, who is Upstart. You guys know that I've been working with Upstart for quite some time, but if you're not familiar with them, they are the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan, and it can all be done online. If you're carrying a credit card balance month after month, it can honestly feel like you're in a never-ending cycle of debt. I have been there before, but Upstart can help you make that final payment so that you can get ahead. So whether you want to pay off credit cards, consolidate high-interest debt, or even just fund personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment. They also know that you're more than just your credit score. And so unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your loan. So with a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. And the best part is that you can receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. To find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today, you can go to upstart.com/Jen. That's upstart.com/Jen. Several of you have reached out to me saying that you've used their service and you're very happy with it. So don't forget to use my link, upstart.com/Jen, to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. All right, so the first day that we're going to start out on is Thursday. And the first thing that I took money out of my account to pay for on Thursday was my kids' college. So if you guys live in the US, you may know that there was a child tax credit that was passed. And so the way that it works is that depending on your income and how many children you have, you'll be receiving a monthly stipend from the federal government. And then also you'll get part of that as a tax credit at the end of the year as well. We are getting $333 a month since we have 2 kids. And essentially I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. It would have been really helpful to have this payment like 5 years ago when my kids were in daycare and I was sort of like not struggling, but as you know, if you have young kids in daycare, like our daycare cost each month was definitely more than our house payment for many years. And so I feel like that it would have been much more helpful to have then. But at any rate, we're getting this money now for them. And so what I've decided to do with it is just put it directly into their college savings account. So if you don't have a college savings account for your kids, it's super easy to start one. You can go to whatever state that you're in. I'm in Iowa, so it's like Iowa 529. A 529 is just a type of college savings account. And essentially what you can do is set one up for each of your kids. I think you can start one for as low as like $50, and then you can determine how much you want to contribute to it each month. You can also give the code to family members if like for birthdays they want to contribute to it. And so that's what we have for each of our kids. And basically I set it up so that after we got our tax credit stipend for them each month, that then that money would go directly directly into their college account. So I spent $333 and put $166.50 into Kira's account and $166.50 into Connor's account. Now, I don't know, you guys can let me know if you have kids and you're paying for their college. I know that it's like a hot button topic. Some people say, don't pay for your kids' college. They're gonna be ungrateful. They need to do it themselves. As someone who are still paying off our student loans 15 years into our career, I can honestly say that it would have been really great if my parents would have helped me out with college. They did not really even encourage me to go to college, you know, let alone pay for it, but that's a different story. It's really important for me to be able to provide that for my kids. I am not of the mindset that I'm just gonna get them to 18 and just like let them go. Higher education is really important to me. I think that, you know, college is not for everyone, but I do think that if you have, you know, post-secondary education, it does give you greater earning power throughout your life. And I just, you know, I want them to be successful and I want to give them all the tools for that. So it's really important for me to save that money for them. My goal right now is by the time that they both graduate is to have $40,000 in each of their account. That will pay for 4 years of in-state tuition. They decide to go to a college in-state, which I will highly encourage. And then if they decide to go on to, you know, grad school, I'm sure that we, you know, may be able to help them with that as well. I also feel like it's really important to be able to help them with living expenses. Not that, you know, we're gonna make them have jobs. It's not like, you know, they're not gonna work, but that's something that really distracted me during my college years was working. I had to work full time. And so I think that, you know, I got okay grades, but I would have been able to get much better grades and I would have been able to spend a lot more time on my schooling if I didn't have to worry about paying for my rent and my groceries. So that's my philosophy on that. If you have any suggestions about college funding or paying for college, or if you've done it for your kids, I would love to hear that in the comments below. Okay, the next thing that I paid for on Thursday was $7.99 to Funimation. I have no idea what this is. This is something Adam purchased. I think it is a service that allows you to watch anime. I don't I don't know. Apparently that's what he's doing with that. So there you go. I also went to Walgreens on this day and spent $54.68. I do have my receipt right here so I can tell you what I bought. I bought a couple of beef sticks that were on clearance because I was hungry. I bought a bottle of water. I bought a bottle of shampoo, conditioner, and just a few other things that I needed like for personal care. I also bought this nail polish, which I thought was really, really pretty. I'm gonna paint my toenails with it. And then I found a container of travel shave cream, which I've been looking for forever, so go me. I also got Starbucks on this day, but it was free because I had enough stars in my account to pay for it, so boom. And then I also ordered some bookcases for Connor on Amazon. There were 2 of them and the total for that was $239.66. So I showed in a video a couple weeks back that I did redid my daughter Kira's room, and so now we're redoing Connor's. I think we're actually gonna do it this upcoming weekend. And so my grand total spending for Thursday is $635.33. All right, so moving on to Friday. The first thing that I spent money on Friday was I spent $42.80 for our pest control person that comes every month. We decided to hire someone professionally when we moved into this house. Adam used to do it himself when we lived in our previous house, but honestly, it wasn't all that effective. Like we would still get spiders at our house and sometimes like ants, and especially in the fall and stuff like that when it's starting to get colder outside. But since we've hired this person, we haven't had any issues with that, and it's well worth the money. Okay, on Friday, I also went and got my nails done. I usually only get my nails done about every 3 weeks, and I always get questions from you guys on the comments on what color I'm wearing on my nails. I never know because I just pick it out at the salon. I don't do them myself anymore. So I get the dip nails. It's where basically what they do is, these are my real nails. I don't have acrylics on them or anything. I don't prefer acrylics because to me it feels like I can't get them clean, and I don't like that feeling. I was always told, like especially when I did direct patient care as a nurse and all of that, that especially if you had the acrylic nails that they harbor bacteria a lot more, and so I don't do those. But what they do, if you've never had the dip nails done before, is they basically just, there's a polish that they paint on there, and then there's a powder that they actually dip your nail into, and once it dries super hard, and then they do a shellac over it, and these last a super long time, like 3 weeks, and even after the 3 weeks they're still on, they just start growing out and I want a different color. This color is actually really pretty. So anyway, that usually costs me $33, but then I always give them a $10 tip. So the total for that was $43. Okay, and then I also went to Hy-Vee on this day and spent $53.32. I think I have my receipt right here, so I'm not quite sure. Oh, this was a night when I couldn't quite figure out what to make for dinner, so I ended up going to the store to get stuff to make chili dogs. I got some potato salad for Adam. I also got some marinara sauce for lasagna that I was gonna make, and I needed to get Connor's birthday cake. So actually most of that $53.32 was the cake for Connor, as well as some candles and decorations for the cake. Okay, and then on that day also I did get Starbucks, which was $6.47, which I know is expensive. The drink that I've been getting right now is an almond milk latte with an extra shot. So it's basically 4 shots of espresso with almond milk, and then I get 2 pumps of the sugar-free vanilla, and then I get extra ice. So that's what I've been doing. And I forgot to mention this at the start of the video, but I am not like a frugal or debt-free person. So if you want like those kind of tips, you're probably not gonna get them from me. I do not, you know, as long as I have money to spend on stuff like this, I don't make myself feel guilty for spending money on coffee, because it's something that like brings me joy. It's not like hurting me in any way. I don't get coffee with like tons of sugar in it and stuff like that. It's just something that makes me happy, and I think that's something that we don't like talk about enough, is that like there's like all this like guilt and like moral judgment around like spending money on yourself, and personally I think that's ridiculous. Like obviously you need to you know, meet your financial priorities at first, but you know, even then it's not always possible for everyone to do that. I mean, not everyone has, you know, the income to support that. So, you know, spending money on yourself every once in a while. Have I had to be frugal in my life? Of course. I, you know, put myself through college making, I don't know, $8.50 an hour, $7.25 an hour, whatever it was. Whatever is not a livable wage is what I made while I was in college. And so yeah, I was poor then. I didn't have enough money to pay for groceries. I was like, you know, floating checks for groceries and, you know, choosing which bills to pay because I didn't have enough money to pay my bills. So yeah, I always hate when people say money doesn't make you happy. Well, of course, happiness doesn't come from money, but if you have an income to, you know, support your financial needs and goals, it makes life a lot easier and it makes life a lot less stressful. So that was a long way of saying that yes, I buy Starbucks. So for Friday, my total spending was $145.59. Okay, so moving on to Saturday. Saturday morning, I did get Starbucks for both Adam and I. So our total there was $11.24. And then I also had a Walmart grocery pickup order. The total for that was $117.71. Basically, I did get some produce and I also got some school supplies. So it wasn't necessarily all groceries. There was a lot of school supplies in there as well. I also went to the farmer's market on Saturday morning and I took $40 out in cash and spent that there. So I actually got a bunch of tomatoes and jalapenos, and I'm probably gonna make salsa later this week. One of my neighbors also was having a flower sale at her house, and she put together all these bouquets. They were actually really beautiful. And so I went over there and picked one out from her. That was $20. And then I did go to Dollar Tree to get some party supplies for Connor and some random other things. I posted that in a separate haul video. My total there was $37.61. And then later that night, we actually had Connor's birthday party, which he wanted his party at the bowling alley this year. So we didn't have a super great turnout. There was a couple people on vacation, but he still had a lot of fun. And the total cost for his birthday party was $140, which kind of seems high, but actually we ended up getting 2 lanes of bowling for 2 hours. All of like the shoe rental and everything was included in that. Plus you get, you know, a space to have the party. And we also got 4 large pizzas and 4 pitchers of soda. So I didn't honestly think that was too bad. So my total for that day was $366.56. Okay, so Sunday morning, Adam and I decided to go to Starbucks and get both breakfast and coffee, so it was a little bit more expensive. The total for that was $18.62. I also had to run to Hy-Vee on Sunday, and basically I was picking up a bunch of produce for the week, and then I also had some supplies that I needed to pick up for Lasagna Love. Oh my gosh, you guys have been so overwhelming. Actually, the founder of Lasagna Love emailed me and said thank you for talking about it on your channel, because so many of you guys have signed up to make food for people, so I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But they were having some sales and I wanted to stock up on some different things there. I also needed batteries for my faucet in my kitchen, so the total for that at Hy-Vee was $92.46. Also on Sunday, the Netflix monthly charge came out of our account, so that was $19.25. And then I also ordered a couple shirts for myself off of Amazon, which all of them ended up being really nice. I can link them down below. I got 3 shirts, and the total for that was $60.61. So my total spending for Sunday was $171.69. All right, so moving along to Monday, I did have to fill up my gas tank on Monday. I mentioned it on Instagram, but I don't really think I've talked about it on my channel here, but I did get a new car a couple of months ago. I ended up getting an Audi Q5, which is honestly like something that I've never been able to do before, is just like go out and say, I want to buy this car, and then buy this car. So it was sort of surreal for me, and I'm very grateful for that. This is like a long way of me saying that I got a new car that requires like the high octane gas or whatever. Long story short, I have to buy like the high octane gas for this car, and so it ends up being like $3.59 a gallon right now, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So to fill up my gas tank, it was $58.85. And if you have questions about whether or not I love the car, yes, I love it. I have never been more in love with the car. with the car. And actually it's the first time I was ever actually went to the dealership and bought the car all by myself, like had the down payment, put it in my name, you know, didn't have to put Adam's name on it or anything like that. So it's really exciting and empowering. Go girl power. Okay, and then I also ordered some water bottle caps on Amazon. Connor started soccer this past week, and so I've really been liking these Nalgene water bottles. They hold 1 liter of water, but the original cap on them was like really hard for kids to drink out of because it's like a wide mouth and they spill it all over. So there are these caps that you can get on Amazon that have a smaller spout. I can link them down below. I bought 2 of those and it was $7.96. And then also on Monday is when our automatic withdrawal comes out for a savings account. So Adam and I have a separate savings account, and that's basically, I would say, our emergency fund. Essentially that's what we use if, you know, our water heater goes out and we have to replace it, or we have to fix one of our vehicles, or, you know, any like large expenses like that. And so total spending for Monday was $466.81. All right, so moving on to Tuesday. Tuesday was actually Connor's birthday. Happy birthday, Connor. So we always have a tradition of birthday donuts. So I went before work and got him some donuts from Dunkin' Donuts and some chocolate milk. So the total for that, well, which I also got some donuts for Kira as well. I did not partake in the donuts, but the total for that at Dunkin' Donuts was $8.72. Tuesday was also the day where I put some more money into the kids' college account. I always get like questions or critique or whatever about doing sponsored content here on YouTube. And yes, it is not a secret that you can make money here on YouTube. And it honestly really irritates me when people like try to shame other creators for, you know, doing sponsored content or advertising on their channel. You know, we live in a capitalist society in which, you know, money pays for college. And so that's why I am trying to make money to pay for my kids' college. So anyway, I was able to take $2,100 and put that into Kira's college account, and then $1,600 and put that into Connor's college account. So in total, I guess that was what, $3,700 I was able to put into their account, which I am super proud of and excited for them. And I want them to do great things in life, as I have talked about previously. Okay, on this day, I also went to Fairway after I had taken Connor to soccer practice just to grab a few items of produce and some hummus. And the total for that was $14.92. I also ordered a wrist strap for my camera that broke, and so I needed a new one. That was $6.84 on Amazon. And then I also have set up where like $400 gets paid on my credit card every month, and so I spent $400 on that. We actually put all of our vacation stuff on my credit card, and so coming up this next cycle I'll have to pay that all back off, but that automatically came out on Tuesday, so whatever. So $400 there. And then I also got Starbucks that day, surprise. So that was $6.47. So the total for Tuesday was $4,136.95, although it's kind of misleading because part of that I saved. All right, so we are on the last day, and that is Wednesday. So Wednesday is when our Mid-American gas bill came out of our account. We do where, so if you guys ever pay for natural gas for your house, you know that you can either do like a monthly billing cycle, or you can do, I think they used to call it budget billing. I don't know if they call it that anymore, but basically instead of paying like $0 during the summer and $300 during the winter, they just charge you a set amount every month. That's what we do. It's easier to budget for that way. So per month for natural gas for our house, which obviously runs our furnace, stove, water heater, everything like that, it was $78. And then I also had to order a trapper keeper for Kira on Amazon. She is entering middle school, and it is very important that she has, you know, the cool trapper keeper. So that was $20.62. I also support my friends, Laura Wansick. She has what's called the BFF Sticker Club on Instagram, which is super fun if you've never checked it out. And they just released sort of like a new sticker scrapbook, so I always like to support them. So I went to their Etsy shop and purchased that. It was $20.63. I wish I could show it to you, but it's not here yet. And then lastly, on Wednesday, we paid our Verizon bill, or rather it came out of our checking account. So the total that we paid for our cell phone is $194.54. That is for 3 lines. I don't know, you guys can let me know if that's like good or not. We've had Verizon for years, and they have the best reception around here, so I've just never switched from them. But that's for my phone, Kira's phone, and Adam's phone. So the total that I spent on Wednesday was $313.79. All right, so grand total that I spent for the week was $6,236.72. Now that number is a little bit misleading, which you can see on the screen here, because $4,433 of that went into savings, so it wasn't actually spending, but I do always include that when I do videos like this. So my actual spending for the week was $1,803.72. So if you guys take anything away from this video, please start a 529 account for your kids. If you haven't already, I would encourage you to do that, even if you can only put, you know, $25 or $50 in a month. The investment is actually, the return on investment is actually fairly good right now. Like the market is good, and so it's growing. Like even if you put a little bit in there, it will grow quite rapidly. So I would encourage you to do that. Also, if you have credit card bills or anything else that you're struggling with and would like to pay off, please check out Upstart. I'll have the link in the description box below. It's upstart.com/Jen. Thank you guys as always for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.